The Colosseum of Thorn stretched into the crimson sky, a monument to violence that had stood for 3,000 cycles. Within its obsidian walls, the galaxy's most fearsome warriors gathered to prove their worth in blood and honor. Today, the arena floor was stained with the purple ichor of a Krathari berserker, and the crowd of 10,000 alien spectators roared their approval. Kayla sat in the lower viewing section, her human frame dwarfed by the towering Vraxian merchants beside her. She had come to Thorn on a cargo run, seeking parts for her ship's failing hyperdrive. The fights were just a distraction while she waited for the black market to open its doors after sundown. The announcer's voice boomed across the arena, translated into 100 languages by neural implants. Our next exhibition match features a rare specimen, a Lyrian cub captured from the frontier worlds. Kayla's attention snapped to the arena floor. A cage was being wheeled out, and inside, pressed against the bars, was a small creature, no larger than a human child. Its silver fur caught the light, and its large amber eyes were wide with terror. This was Varen, barely old enough to have developed the razor claws that marked Lyrian adolescence. The crowd's enthusiasm shifted to curiosity. Lyrians were known as fierce warriors in their prime, but this was different. This was a child. The cub will face Thresh, the manticore of Sector 7. The announcer continued, and the opposite gate began to rise. Kayla felt her stomach turn. Thresh was a nightmare given form. A bioengineered killing machine standing 3 meters tall, with 4 arms ending in serrated blades, and a chitinous exoskeleton that could deflect plasma fire. The creature had torn through 47 opponents without a single loss. Varen's cry pierced the air, a high-pitched keen that spoke of fear, confusion, and desperate hope for rescue that would not come. The sound cut through the crowd's noise, through the artificial atmosphere, through every defense Kayla had built around her heart during her years in the cold void of space. She knew that cry. Every human knew that cry. It was the same sound human children made when the world became too terrifying to bear. It was universal, primal, and impossible to ignore. The Lyrian cub pressed against the cage bars as Thresh advanced, mandibles clicking with hunger. The crowd leaned forward in anticipation. Varen cried out again, and Kayla was already moving. "Human, sit down," a Vraxian hissed as she pushed past. "You'll be arrested!" Kayla didn't respond. She vaulted over the safety barrier, dropping 3 meters to the arena floor. Her boots hit the sand with a soft thud, and suddenly, 10,000 pairs of alien eyes were fixed on her. The announcer's voice faltered. Who is that?" "Security, we have a—" Kayla walked toward Thresh with steady, measured steps. The manticore turned its attention from the cub, compound eyes focusing on this new, smaller prey. It made a sound somewhere between a laugh and a growl, as if amused by her audacity. Humans were not known as warriors in this part of the galaxy. They were traders, engineers, diplomats, useful but soft. Their homeworld's light gravity had left them physically weaker than most species. They had no natural weapons, no armor, no venom or claws. But Kayla knew something these aliens had forgotten. Humans had survived ice ages, predators, plagues, and each other. They had climbed from prey to apex predator on a death world where almost everything was trying to kill them. And most importantly, humans had a trait that evolution had burned into their very DNA. The absolute, irrational, ferocious need to protect the young, any young. Thresh lunged, bladed arms sweeping in a pattern designed to bisect her at the waist. Kayla moved with a speed that surprised even her, adrenaline flooding her system as her endocrine system dumped every combat chemical her body could produce. She dropped and rolled, feeling the wind of the blade's passage above her head. The crowd gasped. She came up inside Thresh's guard, and her fist, augmented by the industrial exoskeleton gloves she wore for cargo handling, slammed into the joint where the creature's upper right arm met its thorax. The chitin cracked. Thresh bellowed in pain and surprise. Kayla didn't stop. She couldn't stop. Varen's cry still echoed in her ears, and something ancient and terrible had awakened in her brain. Her ancestors had fought off cave lions and saber-toothed cats with nothing but rocks and fire. That legacy lived in her blood. She moved like water, like violence, like a mother bear defending her cubs. Every weakness in Thresh's armor, every gap in its engineered perfection, she found and exploited. A strike to the nerve cluster behind its mandibles. A kick to the backward jointed knee. A gouging thumb to the soft tissue around its compound eye. Thresh had been designed to fight warriors. beings who followed honor codes, who fought with technique and strategy. It had never encountered a human in full protective fury, fighting with the desperate creativity of a species that had survived against impossible odds. When Kayla's hands found the weak point where Thresh's head connected to its thorax and twisted, with all the strength her fear and fury could summon, the creature fell. The manticore of Sector 7 collapsed into the blood-stained sand, and the arena fell silent. Kayla stood over the fallen creature, chest heaving, hands shaking with the aftermath of adrenaline. Then she turned and walked to Varen's cage. She tore the lock off with her augmented glove and opened the door. The Lyrian cub stared at her with those huge amber eyes, no longer crying, but not yet understanding. Kayla knelt down, making herself small, non-threatening. She extended her hand. "It's okay," she whispered, knowing the translator would carry her words. "You're safe now." Varen hesitated, then took a tentative step forward. Small paws touched Kayla's hand, and then the cub pressed against her, trembling. Kayla wrapped her arms around the small body, feeling the rapid heartbeat begin to slow. The arena remained silent. Then, from somewhere in the crowd, a single Lyrian adult stood, one of the few of Varen's species present. The gesture was followed by another and another, until hundreds of beings were standing in respect. The announcer finally found his voice. "The human wins." But Kayla wasn't listening. She was already carrying Varen toward the exit, past security guards who parted without a word, past administrators who suddenly found their data pads very interesting. She would face the consequences later. Fines, probably jail time, maybe deportation from Thorn. None of it mattered. Behind her, in the sand of the arena, lay proof of something the galaxy was only beginning to understand. Humans might be weak by galactic standards, might be slow and soft and technically inferior, but when a child cried, any child, the human would step in, and the match would be over.